100 of the best science fiction movies, man, as spun out by me, your boy C, the host of most of the things right here on the Paprika Network, man. What's going on with this? We have been talking about sci-fi movies all throughout this year. From January 1st is when we started this bad boy. We're talking about what I think are the best 100 sci-fi movies, one a day for the first 100 days of the year. We're just keeping this bad boy on a rolling. Yesterday we talked about a little bit of Gilliam that popped up on this list, man. 12 Monkeys. Just a weird movie. Gilliam's movies are just generally weird in general. This one being no exception, man. It's I think it is by far and away the best movie that Terry Gilliam ever did. If you've never seen 12 Monkeys, man, what's wrong with you? Go and check that out immediately. And after you do that, make sure you check out my podcast on 12 Monkeys. It's one of the all-time greats, man. That was number 32 on the list. Today we're talking about number 31 on the list, man. Total Recall, directed by our boy. We talked about him way down on the list earlier, man. Paul Verhoeven. When we talked about RoboCop way back down in the 90s somewhere, I think. Maybe the 80s. But Total Recall, let's check it out, man. This tagline, they stole his mind, now he wants it back. I'll give it a B-, I guess. Construction worker Douglas Quaid discovers a memory chip in his brain during a virtual reality trip. He also finds that his past has been invented to conceal a plot of planetary dominance. Soon, he's off to Mars to find out who he is and who planted the chip. Man, look, this movie is a 113 minutes, damn near perfectly paced movie. It gives you everything in the setup, man. It gives you all the political shit he's watching on the news before that really starts factoring in the movie, man. It puts that idea of Mars in your head quick when that's the dream that's in his head, man. I remember being a kid and seeing the scene where, you know, the very beginning of the movie, he's walking along and he trips and falls when he's, you know, on Mars's outer surface. Got his spacesuit on, of course, and he crashes into it. His face shield breaks, and then, you know, his eyes start bulging out. I was like, oh yeah, this movie's not for me. Of course, I'd be very wrong. There's all the possibilities that this movie brings up. Of course, based off Philip K. Dick novel or story, we'll remember it for you for wholesale. Not the first time our boy Philly K is going to be on this list. Of course, he's got the more famous one coming up ahead. But just the ideas of what's real and what's not real, who you can and who you can't trust. This is Arnold in his prime, man, because you've gotten your Terminators at this point. You got Terminator 1 at this point. I think you've got Predator, I think, at this point. You got Commando at this point, I do believe. You are just a year or two away, I think, from T2. Man, Arnold was just on the fucking run at this point, and Total Recall is no exception, man. I think this is Verhoeven's second best movie he's ever done. Benedetta came out last year, and I think Benedetta is an awesome movie. It hit my top 10 list, so go back and listen to the Cinnamon top 10 episodes of 2021 if you'd like to see where Benedetta plays at. Another great Paul Verhoeven movie, but this is Paul Verhoeven doing what Paul Verhoeven does best, man. Usually there's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek involved. Maybe there's some tongue-in-cheek involved. This is where Arnold's getting off his great one-liners all over the place, kind of like he does in Running Man as well. I think Sharon Stone is amazing in this movie, man. Got really in shape for it. Looks awesome. Moves awesome. It's just great at being that duplicitous character, man. And you know, our boy Benny. I got 5 kids, man. There's just a lot of great stuff going on. Rachel Ticotin as well. Our boy Ronnie Cox, who I do believe, if I remember correctly, is also in RoboCop, man. There's just a lot of good shit happening. Michael Ironside is just a gleefully great bad guy as well. As our boy Richter. See you at the party, Richter. It's so much good shit going on here. The fact that we never know if everything we see is real or not. A man who goes to have fake memories of a trip to Mars planted inside his head because it's cheaper than going on an actual trip to Mars. And then that's where everything goes kind of wonky, right? Like, is it real? Is it not real? Did the memory stuff not take because the other mental plant was in there already? The bright flash at the end. Some people argue that this whole movie is fake and that bright flash is him getting a lobotomy. We'll never quite know, and that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. The fact that everything that is going to happen in this movie is laid out when he is selecting his virtual implant. I want a blonde. No, make it a brunette. I want a woman who's a little bit more demure. And I want bigger boobs. I want to be a spy, and all these things we see throughout. Man, the first act is paced wonderfully, and then when it gets wild, and it stays wild, and it stays fun as well. Go ahead and give those people air. That is it for number, what did I say? That was 32 on this list, man. We're just keeping this list on a rolling. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm sorry, 31 on the list. We'll be back tomorrow with yet another one of these bad boys. Until then, you all take it easy and have a good one.